Hi, it's David Blaise. I recently attended the International Franchise Expo in Washington, D.C., and I had an opportunity to meet with a number of industry leaders in the franchising industry and was talking to them about some of the basic issues that they're dealing with in their recruiting procedures and the biggest threats that they feel are facing them today. So I'd like to take just a few moments and review with you what could be the trouble with your recruiting procedure, the 5 biggest threats facing franchisors today. First one is quality lead flow. Where do your existing leads come from? Is it a great big hodgepodge? Do you have a bunch of online and offline and referrals and in-person and lots of different leads coming from lots of different directions? Well, while there's no shortage of statistics in your organization, very often a lack of understanding about those statistics, a lack of understanding about where those leads came from and what they're likely to respond to can impact the conversion rates on the leads that you're getting. That brings us to biggest threat number 2, a lack of a greased chute conversion process. This is an area where many franchises hemorrhage money and don't even realize it's happening. You already know you spend enormous amounts of money on generating quality leads. But what happens to them after they've been generated? In some organizations, they just get divvied out to various individuals with various approaches and various levels of success. In other organizations, they're all put through exactly the same process without regard to where the leads came from and what they're most likely to respond to. The biggest problems I've been seeing lately with franchise conversions are, first of all, the process is not congruent. In other words, you generate a lead online and you call the person on the phone to follow up, or you send them something in the mail to follow up. You send them a packet in the mail. Generally speaking, your response to every single lead you get should be congruent with the way they contacted you. If people email you, that is probably their preferred method of communication. So initially, you very likely want to email them back. If they call on the phone, obviously you want to take the call or you want to return the call. So being congruent is something that doesn't always happen. You get leads from lots of different sources and they're all treated the same way, or they're all treated by different individuals in different ways, and as a result, you're losing out on congruency. Next, the speed and appropriateness of the follow-up is lacking. We live in an instant gratification society. Therefore, the speed of your response is extremely important right now, particularly if you're getting leads online. People expect a fast response. Not just fast, though, also appropriate. You need to make sure that that response is lightning fast and perfectly targeted to the individual who is asking for more information. In some cases, the process lacks structure, or it's not systematized, or the process is too rigid and doesn't account for the needs of the individual prospect. And in many cases, the biggest thing is that too many expensive leads that you've already paid for are falling through the cracks. So essentially, you need a greased chute conversion process. Until you patch the holes in your conversion process and create a greased chute that perfectly suits your prospects from the moment they get in touch with you until the moment they close, you will never achieve all you're capable of in your franchise organization. Number 3, increased competition. Well, welcome to the world, right? More people are entering the franchise industry all the time, and as bad ones drop out, new ones are cropping up. It's inevitable. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? How will you position yourself as the only viable choice in the mind of the prospective franchisee? Somebody goes to a franchise show and they're seeing lots of different organizations. How are you going to differentiate yourself? This goes directly to the issue of messaging. What it is that you say about your organization, how you say it. Now, everybody knows that this is important, but very few people do it exceptionally well. If you get this right, you make it extremely difficult on your competition. If you get it wrong, you're basically screwed. Number 4, lack of financing for qualified leads. This should actually say interested leads, because qualified leads have the money. That's what makes them qualified. It's important to understand this. People can be interested in an opportunity, but not financially qualified to be able to invest in it. Others can be financially qualified, in other words, they have the money, but they're not interested. The only people who generate money for us in this industry are those who are both interested and financially qualified. Right now, there is total focus on trying to get money for unqualified, uncreditworthy people. In recent years, the financial system in our country was geared toward giving people who didn't have the likelihood of paying back loans money. Well, that's dried up recently, and it's having a direct impact on franchise and business opportunities, particularly those who are trying to stubbornly cling to a business model that at the moment in the market does not exist. So if you're trying to focus on getting money for unqualified, uncreditworthy people, you may be shooting yourself in the foot. The real focus right now, for those who want to be extremely successful, has to be on creating interest and desire among people with money. If they don't want it, if they do not want to invest in your franchise, then it doesn't matter how much money they have. If they don't want it, they're never going to do it. So by creating interest and desire among people with money, you increase your likelihood of success dramatically. So while everybody else is trying to get financing for people who have no money, you can focus on creating interest and desire among those who do. That's just some of what we help our clients do. 5. Profitability of franchisees. Many franchise organizations are so focused on their own profitability right now that they're totally dropping the ball when it comes to the profitability of their franchisees. In a well-run franchise organization, your existing franchisees provide the bulk of your revenue. That means your franchisees have to be profitable. Nobody wants to spend money to operate an unprofitable franchise. Franchisees are looking to you for the solutions. They are looking to you as the expert. They're looking to you to know what to do. They expect you to have those solutions. And if you don't, you're in trouble. If you don't know what to tell a franchisee about what to do in order to be able to attract business, even in a difficult economy, you're going to lose them. Here's the thing. The old model of training franchisees is pretty much dead in the water. The old model was basically you bring people in for a training for a few days, you send people out to their location for a few days, and then they're on their own, they stumble through everything else themselves, and that's just not a viable business option anymore. Successful franchises now provide 24/7 online training, not just for their franchisees, but also for the franchisees' employees, the people who really need to learn this stuff, and they need to learn it right. They need to learn it from the source. That's you. Too often the tribal method of training kicks in. In other words, you train a franchisee on your procedures. Then that franchisee has to train his or her employees on that procedure. And then some of those employees have to train new employees on the procedure, and so on down the line. It becomes like whisper down the lane. So by the time you get to 3 or 4 generations into it, they're learning stuff that you never taught in your initial training. This is something else that we deliver for our clients through youronlineu.com. It's a totally custom, fully branded, and affordable online university system that allows you to empower your franchisees to make money for themselves and for you. So, if you're a senior executive in a well-funded franchise organization with good cash flow that is willing to invest in growing sales and profits for yourself and for your franchisees, if you need help with quality lead flow, with creating a greased chute conversion process, with dealing with that increased competition, with creating interest and desire among financially qualified prospects, people with money or people with the ability to get money, and ensuring the success and profitability of your existing franchisees and thereby your own organization, call Blaise Drake & Company toll-free today at 1-800-494-2721 or 610-685-9700. Obviously, we can only work with a limited number of businesses, so give us a call today and find out how we can help you. Thanks for listening.